profound role in neurodevelopment. And sure enough, parents with metabolic issues like obesity and diabetes are more likely to have children with autism and ADHD. This is not about fat shaming, because what I am arguing is that the same foods and chemicals and other drivers of obesity that are causing obesity in the parents are affecting the brain health of our children. There is compelling evidence that food plays a direct role in mental health. One study of nearly 300,000 people found that those who eat ultra-processed foods daily are 3 times more likely to struggle with their mental health than people who never or rarely consume them. A systematic review found direct associations between ultra-processed food exposure and 32 different health parameters, including mental health conditions. Now, I'm not here to say that food is the only or even primary driver of mental illness. Let's go back to something familiar. Trauma and stress do drive mental illness. But for those of you who don't know, trauma and stress are also associated with increased rates of obesity and diabetes. Trauma and stress change human metabolism. We need to put the science together. This brings me to a key point. We cannot separate physical and mental health from metabolic health. Addressing metabolic dysfunction has the potential to prevent and treat a wide range of chronic diseases. This is not just theoretical. We've just heard from Michaela Peterson-Fuller, Dr. Peterson. In my own work, I have seen firsthand how using metabolic therapies like the ketogenic diet and other dietary interventions can improve even severe mental illnesses like schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, sometimes putting them into lasting remission. These reports are published in peer-reviewed, prestigious medical journals. However, there is a larger issue at play that many have talked about. Medical education and public health recommendations are really captured by industry and politics. And at best, they often rely on weak epidemiological data, resulting in conflicting or even harmful advice. We heard a reference to this, but in case you didn't know, a long time ago, we demonized saturated fat. And what was the consequence of demonizing saturated fat? We replaced it with healthy vegetable shortening. That was the phrase we used, healthy vegetable shortening. Guess what was in that healthy vegetable shortening? It was filled with trans fats, which are now recognized to be so harmful that they've been banned in the United States. Let's not repeat mistakes like this. So what's the problem? Number one, nutrition and mental health research are severely underfunded, with each of them getting less than 5% of the NIH budget. This is no accident. This is the concerted effort of lobbying by industry, food manufacturers, the healthcare industry. They do not want root causes discovered. We need to get back to funding research on the root causes of mental and metabolic disorders, including the effects of foods, chemicals, medications, environmental toxins on the human brain and metabolism. We stand here at a crossroads. We can continue managing symptoms and watching this crisis worsen, or we can choose a new path, one that addresses the root causes of mental and metabolic disorders. The time to act is now. For the sake of our citizens, our children, and our nation's future, Let's work together to address this chronic disease epidemic. Thank you.
I want to start by making a comment on the mention that Dr. McCary did about the Pima Indians. I spent about 20% of